Now, let me ask you a question. Is God's best effort at getting the world saved through television evangelists? Well, the Lord is working mightily here today. Why, the Lord just healed Bertha Butt's big toe. Praise Jesus. I tell you, he went up, he did not go down. And all the religiosity, all the religion that you see out there on television evangelists, people slapping each other upside the head, knocking people over, is that the best God can do to get the world saved? And let me ask you another question. Are you the best God can do to save the world? Is your church God's best effort at saving the world? Let me tell you something about yourself. You are so self-deceived. You really are. If you really believe that people are either saved or lost, and if they don't hear the gospel, they're going to burn for all eternity in a lake of fire, you don't no more believe that. If you believe that, you wouldn't be living in an air-conditioned home. You would sell your home and live in a tent, and you would go out there and try to save souls if you really believed that. That if people don't hear the gospel, they're going to burn for all eternity in hell. You don't really believe that. You wouldn't be playing church if you believed that. You wouldn't go to a church for 45 minutes and then at 1 o'clock in the evening, you're out there on the golf course. I mean, how do you make that comparison? Okay, if people don't hear the gospel, they burn for all eternity in hell, but I'm golfing. What kind of, how do you reconcile those two? How do you reconcile those two? Truth of the matter is, you don't believe that. You don't believe God's desperately trying to save the world right now, do you? Now, a lot of people would say, well, I believe God will work it out somehow. The missionary has a flat tire. He's on his way to Uganda, Africa. The little 18-year-old teenage girl, she dies of AIDS before he gets there. She doesn't get to sing, yes, Jesus loves me, this I know for the Bible tells me so. So she's not saved. Okay, what happens to her? You see, you believe that God will work it out. And I agree with you. God will work it out. You see, the difference between me and you is I know how God is going to work it out. And that's what this program is much about. The fact of the matter is, God, right now, is only calling a first fruit. Surely you don't believe your little penny-ante effort to go out and invite a few people to church is the best God can do to get people saved. You don't believe that, do you? Now, why did Jesus speak to them in parables? The simple answer is it wasn't their time to get it. It wasn't their time to understand. Jesus is not offering salvation to all people at this time. And there's a reason why Jesus is not offering salvation to all people at this time. Matthew 13 and verse 13. Therefore I speak to them in parables. Because, now we're asking the question, why did Jesus speak to them in parable? Jesus is going to give us the answer right here. Because they seeing, see not, and hearing, they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which says, by hearing you shall hear and not understand, and seeing you shall see and not perceive. For these people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. Yeah, there's a small possibility that a person can be converted, but it's not going to happen unless God is calling you and you are one of the first fruits.